Listen here, see? It's episode 150 of the KFR News Podcast, see? The following podcast contains spoilers for the Maltese Falcon, see? You've been warned, see?
I see what you did there. And we're just going to keep it going by just keeping it going. All right, welcome back, everybody, to podcast, radio, whatever you want to call it. God damn it. I'm Glenjamin Button, along with your host, Miguel Magusto here.
Hello,
I feel like we've 150th episode, and it feels like we've been doing this for 150 times.
Yeah.
This
really
damn
does.
accent.
Anytime a movie is from before 1950.
1970.
Yeah, 1970, yeah. Where's it? Listen here, see?
God damn it, everything's too old for this.
Yes. How you doing, Glenn?
I'm not bad. I'm prepping for some good old vacation time. I really had a bad case of the Mondays, but, you know, I'm in a better mood now, and that's all that
but you're going to
matters.
have a great case of the Fridays.
As soon as Friday hits, I'm off to a different planet, it feels
Exactly. With all this Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday-ness going on, have you watched any movies?
I had watched one movie besides our movie, and we had both reviewed it, and it's up on the YouTubes. That movie is Firestarter.
Yes.
I'll let my words speak for myself in the video.
I'll let myself speak for myself.
I'll let
Thank you.
myself speak on that. Thank you. Other than that, I watched Maltese Falcon, which we will get into in a bit. But I know you've been holding out on me, haven't you? You've got some videos and movies to talk about, don't you not? I don't know what I meant about the videos, but the movies.
Either. I mean, it's a pretty light week for me. I only watched 4 movies from the last time we recorded. Firestarter was the first one, of course. We have the YouTube video up so people can check out to see our thoughts there. Then for my cinema bucket list series that I'm doing for the 1001 movies you must see before you die, I rewatched The Killing Fields, which I had not seen since before my junior or senior year of high school, because the reason I watched it then was we had the option for English class to either read 2 books or watch 1 movie. And I was the only one that picked watch 1 movie.
Who wouldn't want to watch a movie?
Over reading 2 books? Like, I'm not against reading or anything, but over the summer, we're talking about time here, time management.
We're talking about time is a construct.
How am I the only one that picked watching 1 movie over reading 2 books? I don't understand it. Even like me being a movie buff aside, there should have been at least like 50-50.
100%.
At least. And I was the only one that watched The Killing Fields. Anyway, Killing Fields is a great movie. It's heartbreaking because it's about the real life genocide of Cambodian people. In Cambodia by other Cambodians. It's like a revolutionary war situation that went on there, and it's really heartbreaking. It won several Oscars, including Best Supporting Actor.
Best Supporting Ass.
Yes, Best Supporting Actor for the actor who was actually he was in Cambodia, living in Cambodia during these times. His name is Hang S. Nor, I believe is how you pronounce it. He was a doctor in Cambodia during the revolution, obviously fled to America to avoid being murdered. He actually lost his wife and unborn child in Cambodia. Very, very sad. But like, he delivers a killer performance, and it's not just like a pity award because, you know, he's playing someone that went through something he went through and it was a first-time actor or anything. He's actually like legitimately good in it. So it's just a really interesting story. You see a very young John Malkovich, very young Sam Waterston. For you Sam Waterston fans out there, it's a solid movie. It's not for everyone because it is like, you know, early 80s political drama where it's kind of slow moving, but it's very well made. I highly suggest people check that out. But yeah, Anyway, that was for the 1001 movies you must see before you die. There's going to be 9 other movies involved in that episode that comes out in June. So check that out. Then I watched a movie. I believe it's from Saudi Arabia. Let me check that. Yes, it's a Saudi Arabian film. I believe it was the first Saudi Arabian film directed by a woman. Let me just double check that real quick. Sorry I should have checked this beforehand. But it's called Wajda, which is about a young Muslim girl who's going to school and everything. And yes, it was I believe it's the first. I can't find confirmation on that, but I just wanted to check to see if the director was a woman. Director is a woman. I'm fairly certain it's the first Saudi Arabian film directed by a woman. Could be wrong on that, but I do remember hearing that somewhere. But it's about this young Muslim girl in Saudi Arabia who is kind of like testing the boundaries of being a girl in Saudi Arabia with the strictness. Like, she wants to buy a bike, and everyone's telling her that bikes are for boys and all that.
They do both start with a B, so it's understandable.
Yes, bikes are for boys. Goyas are for girls.
Yeah,
I don't know what a Goya is. I know it's a Mexican ingredient company, like beans. I know they make beans. But anyway, yeah, it's a very endearing movie. I really enjoyed it. It is very understated. It's got some funny moments, got some sad moments. Solid film overall. And then I watched, oh boy, The Maltese Falcon, which we will get into right now.
Wow.
Come closer. I want to talk to you. I'm going to tell you an astounding story. The story of the Maltese Falcon. 600 years, the Falcon has carried the mystery of a fabulous wealth under its grotesque wings. I could tell you 1,000 tales of the men and women who have hunted this evil bird. But every story has the same ending. Murder. Listen to these incredible people, all consumed by their passionate greed for the Maltese Falcon.
What have you ever given me beside money? Have you ever given me any of your confidence, any of the truth? Haven't you tried to buy my loyalty with money and nothing else?
What else is there I can buy you with?
San Francisco's private detective Sam Spade takes on a case that involves him with 3 eccentric criminals, a gorgeous liar, and their quest for a priceless statuette with the stakes rising after his partner is murdered. That comma fucked me up.
Pause. I'm keeping that very long pause.
That comma fucked me up. I was not ready for it.
It is written and directed by John Huston, based on the novel by Dashiell Hammett, starring Humphrey Bogart, Mary Astor, Gladys George, Peter Lorre, Sidney Greenstreet is in there. Where is that little bitch Wilmer? And Alicia, his name would be Alicia Cook Jr. It might be Elisha. I don't know.
Elijah.
Yeah. To be clear, the character's a little bitch. I'm sure he is not. Just to clarify, I don't want his estate coming after me for saying that. It's the character who is very purposefully made a little bitch.
He does play a bastard.
He does play a bastard. But yeah, this came up on Streaming Roulette. It is considered one of the greatest movies ever made. And it is... I have seen this before. When I watched it, I thought I enjoyed it, but I thought it might have been slightly overhyped by everyone. And while I appreciated it more this time, I still kind of feel like it might be slightly overhyped. That's not to say it's not good, because I do think it's good, but it does kind of not hit this way I feel like most people think it does.
I would probably be in the same boat, to be honest with you. I've heard nothing but the best of the best. So, looking to it, I was expecting the best of the best. I guess maybe for its time and when it was released, and I'm assuming this was kind of early in filmmaking. They just figured out how to roll a camera, right?
Yeah, this was about 10 years after talkies came about. So the sound had only been in film for 10 years. To put that into perspective, Iron Man came out 14 years ago. So
Yeah.
to compare
After
it,
I said that, I was just imagining pitchforks and just screaming film experts behind me out my window, just like, what the fuck did he say?
I mean, yeah,
But no, this is like early in filmmaking history, and
Yeah,
how many
it's widely
how many
considered the
noir type
golden-
films like this were there at the time?
yeah, it's widely considered the golden era film, the 40s. I honestly couldn't tell you why. I think they're a bit hacky in the 40s. I don't dislike movies from the 40s, but I much prefer like late 50s, early 60s to the 40s movies. But like everyone's just like, oh, the 40s are the golden era. Again, don't have a problem. Not going to argue that, but they're all kind of the same from back then.
Yeah.
This is not really an exception. I really enjoyed this, but it hits all of the noir tropes. With the moody detective private eye who's kind of smarter than everyone, or thinks he's smarter than everyone at least, and the woman who is like in over her head with something and just swoons into his arms every chance she gets to try to use
They
her
fall in
her
love immediately.
yes, try to use her womanly charm to keep him from hurting her and stuff like that, and it's filled with all those tropes. The one thing I did like, I talked briefly about this last week, is that this has slight gay undertones. They're very slight in today's world, but the character of Joel Cairo, played by Peter Lorre, his character is so interesting in a way. He's just very interesting. I don't know why I brought the gay thing up. It has nothing to do with his character really, but he is the gay character if there is one within this. And I think John Huston confirmed that he is gay, and I believe the book confirms it as well. But Peter Lorre is a great actor. He's a Hungarian actor who I believe fled Europe during the Nazi occupation. But he's a great actor who's very, very underappreciated in my opinion. His character was just interesting to watch anytime he was on screen, and how he interacted with Humphrey Bogart's character was great to watch as well.
Yeah. Going back to how this was kind of overhyped a little bit. It definitely is that way, because at the time this really came out, it was kind of just oversaturated with so many of these types of films that come out. So when we go back and watch this one with all the other ones that we have seen, it makes sense that it does not, live up to its potential in a way. So like with that in mind, like I definitely understand why we do feel that way, but it's probably one of the better ones out of all of those ones for sure.
If I'm honest, I think the entire era is overhyped. Like, I really enjoy noir films and films from the 40s, but people like lose their shit over them. Like they're the greatest thing ever made, and that they will never be beat. But I would argue that they've been beat several times over by decades after them. Again, that's not to say that they're not good. It's just
2015 alone smacks the ass of all of the 1940s.
I will never understand that mindset. It happens with music too, where people are just like, "Oh, the movies and music I grew up with are just better than ones coming out today." It's like, no, no, they're just different. Like, if it's not your thing, that's fine, but like, it's not better or worse. It's just different, and I think a lot of the film buffs, especially with the AFI Top 100, those people are all like grew up around this time, so they're all just chomping at the bit to talk about 1940s film. But I really liked Humphrey Bogart in this. Sorry,
no, you're good.
Yeah, I really liked Humphrey Bogart in this. He played a smart ass, which was fun to watch at times, and especially how he interacted with Wilmer.
I mean, with this, I think what's really nice about it is one of the best of its genre and time. Yeah, in that it has seemed to have been like the most impactful years past, like even like today. Video game related wise, this is how I know most of the references now because of this movie. There was a game called Metal Gear Solid that had the character named Fat Man, which in turn was named from the bomb from World War II, Fat Man and Little Boy. And then, of course, that bomb was named after Fat Man from the character Fat Man in this.
Oh, really? I did not know that.
And then, of course, I had to look that up a little bit. But
Yeah.
so yeah, there was an interesting chain of events there. And then even another reference is Nolan North. I'm sure you've heard his voice. Every almost video game person has in the world. He did a character in Crash Bandicoot called, was it Dr. Engine or something like that? His name, yeah, Dr. Engine. And one of Nolan's, like primary, like, what's the word for it? Examples to use that voice was for Peter Lorre's character, or just Peter Lorre, period. He used like him as an example to create the Dr. Engine voice in Crash Bandicoot video games when he did it. So that was really cool too.
Yeah.
So just today, like just between the references and everything, that it held its own still as far as like its legacy in a way.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. I liked that. That was dope.
Yeah, it's definitely got a great legacy behind it. And going back to this being one of the better films of its time and era and whatnot, for its time, it's incredibly well paced. I told you I rewatched the last hour because chaos was ensuing when I was watching the last hour. My son was going crazy, and I was trying to watch it and didn't really quite get to watch it all as close as I wanted to. So when I was waiting for you, I watched the last hour. And that last hour like flew by. The first 40 minutes flew by as well. But the last hour is incredibly well paced. And even though it is extremely dialogue heavy, to the point where the last maybe 20-25 minutes are entirely dialogue driven, that it's still well paced with its how its dialogue is broken up, and its blocking helps it be well paced. The performances add to the pacing as well. And so in that sense, it's an incredibly well made film where they're just exposition dumping at the end about how things happened. It doesn't feel like it's taking forever, like a lot of exposition dumps do. It's just extremely well made in that sense. And John Huston, who wrote and directed it, he just kind of showed why he's one of the greatest directors to have ever lived. And I've always liked John Huston, so I like his work.
He do be good.
Be good.
How did he do what he did?
Action.
Good job, guys. Can you say that line a little faster? All right.
Yeah. And then occasionally acts with a grovelly voice.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, this movie was great. The last half hour did have you like having to sit up and listen a little bit, because I'm sitting there not at first, and I'm like, let me go back 2 minutes and re-listen to all that. Holy shit. I am confused about one thing.
Sure.
Wilmer, Fat Man had said that Wilmer's character, it's just Wilmer, I guess, had killed, what was his name, Truesby? Or Thursby? Thursby, yeah. and Jacoby, whatever the fuck their names were.
Jacoby.
He said that he killed both of them, but then later they confirmed that O'Shaughnessy lady killed Thursby?
No, she killed Archer, who was Humphrey Bogart's
okay.
partner.
My brain is on track now.
Yes.
Okay.
That's something I had to clear up upon rewatching the last hour as well. But the characters in this are probably the best part, honestly, because they're all unique in their own way. The Fat Man is very different from Cairo, who's very different from Spade, who is very different from... They're all very different from O'Shaughnessy. gender aside, and Wilmer's got his own thing, and even the two cops who like from a distance kind of look like the same. They have
person.
Yeah, they're like the same person, but then one of them's obviously got a better rapport with Sam. Humphrey Bogart's
Good cop,
character.
bad cop.
Exactly, it's good cop, bad cop. But I feel like the characters are like unique enough where it really adds to the story and how they interact with each other. And it's just it's really fun to see them all kind of in the same scene together. It's never really a dull moment throughout the film.
Yeah.
And
The only real gripe I actually do have with it is that Peter Lorre's not in it more or like participating or enough.
Random offshoot of this. Have you seen M?
Not yet. The only one that I've watched with, I believe, both Humphrey and Peter is Casablanca, which, to be honest, I don't remember anymore.
I mean, I'm surprised you don't remember it, but I'm also not surprised you don't remember it, if that makes sense.
I also think I would watch it with my grandparents and I might have fell asleep.
Yeah.
So if that helps the case any, that's probably why I forget it.
Yeah, Peter Lorre is great in M. That's a German language film. He kind of plays like a guy that is suspected of murder, and the whole paranoia he plays. He's an incredible actor, and I really feel like he doesn't get enough credit with today's audiences, because he's also in The Man Who Knew Too Much with
he's in a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, he is.
That has big names.
Yeah, he was a really big actor back in his day, and I feel like a lot of people have forgotten about him. But from that era, he's one of my favorite actors. I've always really liked him, and hope more people check out his work, because he was incredibly talented, especially in M. He has this incredible monologue towards the end of M, where it's like, you can always tell acting from back then and acting today. Like, acting today is way more realistic than it was back then, because they were still kind of going off of stage acting.
Yeah.
But while his monologue does get there sometimes, there's also moments of like brilliant reality where it's just so nuanced that I can't speak enough about it. And I don't want to give too much away about it. But anyway, we're not talking about M. We're talking about
the guy who played.
We're talking about the Maltese Falcon. Did you know that the three remaining statuettes, the three remaining Falcons, they had 8 Falcons made. The 3 that remain are all worth over $1 million today.
Damn.
Yeah, which is weird because they're all made out of lead, or at least one of them is made out of lead. And lead is, I don't know, is lead expensive? I probably should have looked that up before.
Maybe not.
How expensive is lead? Since it was a fake and made out of lead, I would assume that it's not. Okay, that doesn't tell me anything.
I love that the Maltese Falcon in the movie was worth $1 million, and now like all 3 that still exist.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's one thing I looked at. So Humphrey Bogart's
props.
Yeah, Humphrey Bogart's character, once the jig was up, kept $1,000 for his time and expenses. $1,000 in 1941 today is like close to $20,000.
Jeez.
Like, how much time and expenses did you have that you're keeping $1,000? But I mean, yeah. It's a really solid film. I definitely appreciated it more this time around. I still think it's maybe slightly overhyped, but that's just the legacy it has, and you really got to go into it not really giving too much credit to the legacy, but also respecting the legacy, if that makes sense.
If you take away the legacy, like it's again, don't hate me. All the film experts out there, please don't come outside of my house with pitchforks.
Fucking hate you, Glenn.
Yeah, please stop. Yeah, other than its legacy, it's kind of any other noir film out there, but it has great chemistry with all the actors in it, and all their characters are unique in pretty much every way. They're all different, like you said.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what made it stand out so much at its time, and now it's just has this legacy behind it to where you can't really ignore it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, where it is a little overhyped, it's understandably overhyped.
Yeah. I also like that you don't see the Falcon until the end.
Yeah.
That kind of adds to the mystery of it all, even though the Falcon, not so much the actual 1941 releases, but if you look at any modern posters, it's got the Falcon all over it, so that kind of gets rid of it. But movie-wise, you don't see the Falcon for a good while.
Yeah, and I had no idea what it was going to look like the whole time, and then it popped up, and I'm like, that's what it fucking looks like?
Yeah. Well, it's I don't know if you remember them saying that it is completely. It's like completely gold and covered in jewels underneath black
right
enamel.
In the beginning.
And
I wish that part was just said between the characters or something.
Instead of doing like the Star Wars
of a scroll.
Yeah, Star Wars. Well, I mean, it's obviously well before Star Wars, so it's not a Star Wars scroll. But
just your example.
Yeah, but. The amount of times that people pulled guns on each other in this would kind of made me laugh a little bit. Just like, gun. I'm going to pull your trench coat over and pull out your guns.
Yeah, it's just America for you.
Yeah, karate chop that gun out of your hand.
There's not one thing. It doesn't make me mad because of the movie. It's just the way people say Falcon and Falcon. It always drives me nuts.
They say it the Han Solo way.
I don't know, man. It just... Say one or the other, or just at least put a U instead of an A for Falcon.
Yeah.
That drives me nuts for no reason. And I can't say why. It's like tomato, even though nobody says tomato. I'm sorry, water. That drives me nuts too. Water. I hate water.
Hey, you do not, even though neither of us say it, you do not get to
you don't say
talk.
water.
You do not get to shit talk.
Or Warsh.
Any Philadelphia accent things.
Warsh annoys the shit out of me.
I do not speak with a Philadelphia accent, but I will defend that accent to the death because it is so uniquely Philadelphian. But
I don't have too much else, to be honest with you.
Yeah, me neither. So that does it for the review. That brings us to our judgment for the Maltese Falcon. As always, it needs to be a unanimous decision whether or not it becomes a little shelf boy with the likes of Apostle and Handmaiden. I'm bringing up a random number generator to see who goes first.
Got it.
Random number generator. Okay. Pick a number between...
Even.
Okay, you're going to pick evens?
Yep.
It is even, so you go first.
Let
or
it
you
be
pick. It's up
known
to you.
around the world that I'm going first. So yeah, this movie, we talked about it a lot, but to break down that synopsis, it's kind of hard. Do I want to put it on the shelf? I think I want to. I don't necessarily want to because I feel like we've seen these types of movies so many times, but it is hard to ignore such a solid legacy and obviously such a great early film that stands out above all those other ones that we have seen. And everybody was great in it, and all the characters were great. So I think, for all the solid package alone, despite us feeling like we've watched this so many times, I feel like it does definitely deserve to be on the shelf.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where if I know I've been talking about my series cinema bucket list now available on YouTube a lot, but some within that series I always pick if something stays on the list or not. And there's a few times where just like I can acknowledge that a movie is bigger than my personal feelings towards it. That it deserves to be on the list just because of the sheer popularity of it. And how many people, just because I don't like something as much as other people does not mean that I should deprive other people of that. What the films that I use that reasoning for, I dislike way more than this. Like I really like this movie, but it does have, I do think it's slightly overhyped, but because it does have such a legacy, I also think that it goes on the list or on the shelf.
On the shelf.
On the shelf. The list is another thing. So the Maltese Falcon, not Falcon, goes onto the KFR shelf with the likes of Apostle and Handmaiden. That brings us to our assignment for next week. We are taking a 1 week break. Little Glenjamin Button here is going on a cruise.
I'm going to the Bahamas, baby.
Hopefully, it doesn't take a little poop detour like cruises did 10 years ago or whatever, however long ago that was.
That would suck. There's just a random iceberg chilling there. Oh man, right in the Bahamas. Yeah,
man, global warming is real. Anyway,
dude. I'm scared.
I feel like it's been a while since we have watched together and discussed a South Korean film.
It's
been a minute. Now, this one I have seen. According to Letterboxd, you have not seen. However, I feel like I may have recommended it to you, so you may have seen it.
You do also know me well enough to where I forget to rate a lot of stuff.
Yes.
Like I forgot to rate Nacho Libre. We were talking about that today.
Come on, man.
I was like, what the fuck?
Nacho! Anyway, but so we may have both seen this already, but I've already decided. According to Letterboxd, you haven't seen it, but it is going to be on Amazon Prime, and it is called I Saw the Devil.
I actually have not seen this and have been meaning to.
I was hoping,
especially the last time we talked about a South Korean film.
Yeah,
I think we mentioned this.
Yeah, I replaced a movie on the 1001 movie list with this film, and I've been wanting to rewatch it, but because of how crazy my cinema bucket list schedule has been, I haven't been able to rewatch some of the movies I want to rewatch. So I'm forcing this into my schedule by talking about it on the podcast 2 weeks from now. So I Saw the Devil on Amazon Prime, directed by Kim Ji-woon, written by Park Hoon-jung and Kim Ji-woon, starring Lee Byung-hung, who many people will know from Squid Games.
Squid Game.
Yeah, and Choi Min-sik, who many people will know from Old Boy. Then there's Jung Goo-kwan and Ho Jin-chung and a whole bunch of other people. I've butchered enough names, though. I've just butchered them enough. And it is a secret agent exacts revenge on a serial killer through a series of captures and releases. Anyway, so I Saw the Devil on Amazon Prime. That is going to be our assignment on the next episode, which comes out in 2 weeks. Thank you, everyone, for listening. As always, you can check out our website at www.keystonefilmreview.com. On Instagram, we're Keystone_film_review. Twitter, Keystone_film. Facebook, Keystone Film Review. TikTok, Keystone Film Review. YouTube, Keystone Film Review. And on Letterboxd, I am Mike KFR.
And I am Glenn KFR.
And that will do it until next week when we watch I Saw the Devil. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye-bye.